Hello, welcome to Gate 30 in the third line. Gate 30 is recognition of feelings and the clinging fire. It's a solar plexus gate in collective abstract circuitry, and the third line is called resignation. And this could be seen as a deeply philosophical line. The lifetime learning says the acceptance of what is. So it's the resignation with the acceptance of what is. The third line has a feeling, bangs into the other, doesn't necessarily get the opportunity to exercise that feeling, to work that out, to have that experience. And at the same time, it is deeply accepting of the fact that it doesn't have to happen. And that takes time. This is a lifetime learning. They have to learn that in this life, that the things are what they are. This is the line of no choice. In the exaltation, the awareness and manifestation of the law of regeneration, the laws of karma, reincarnation, and resurrection, the feeling to accept what is. This is what it's all about, the feeling to accept what is. It is the recognition that the feeling that you have, the experience that you seek that can come in other ways, that you may not get it in this life. It may not be for you in this life, and you can accept that others have that opportunity, and you may never. The third line learns this painfully, as all third lines do, banging into what is, not being able to get around that, making new discoveries through that process. And then the detriment, the tendency by its very knowledge to encourage or avoid despair, the positive or negative feelings which come with acceptance of what is. This is very deep in our human process. No choice can be very beautiful, and no choice can be ugly. It just depends on your perspective. You can see no choice as transcendence, and you can see no choice as no chance. But you are still seeing no choice. What is what is. It's important to recognize here that the exalted actually doesn't exist in the world as at the moment because it's in Pluto. It hasn't existed in this world for a very long time, at least a couple of hundred years. And eventually Pluto comes back to the 30th gate in 2039, I think it is. Then we'll get the exaltation again. It will come back into the world. But when we're looking at the third line today, we either love it or hate it. We either say our helplessness is terrible or our helplessness is wonderful. That's where we are in terms of the mechanic. This is a line of adaptation. It's the end of the trigram, and it can be inherently irresponsible. We know it's about bonds made and broken. We know that the wave here is rejection and allegiance. What is in that wave and what happens to the 30 in the third line? Well, it doesn't happen right away. It takes time. After all, there's no awareness here until they recognize that what is. I'm up. I'm up. I'm down. Yeah, I'm down. I feel the world is beautiful. I feel the world is terrible. This is just what is. And out of that recognition, and this is what the channel is, the channel of recognition, after all, comes an acceptance of the nature of the wave, the acceptance of what it is to be emotional. They grasp the nature of the emotions, and they can be in despair about that, because out of that recognition does not come awareness. Out of this recognition can come emotional clarity. The highest level that this stream can attain is emotional clarity, to recognize that what is. It's an irresponsibility to the process of the feeling. If the feeling cannot result in change or progress, then it is still not about becoming obsessed with the feeling. It's about surrendering to this is what it is. At the high end of the wave, it will be acceptable, and at the low end of the wave, it's full of pain. But nonetheless, this is the nature of the motor. This is the feeling to accept what is. It's not the awareness of accepting what is. The feeling to accept what is, and this only comes from experience. This is one of the deepest things that we recognize about the nature of the emotional environment. We all know this. No, people in our lives, people that we love, we watch them as they grow older. Emotional people, as they grow older, they very often mellow with experience. They've made a fool out of themselves so many times. They've been hurt so many times. They've watched others get hurt so many times. But slowly, they begin to recognize the nature of what the wave is. The greatest gift that can come to anyone with a defined emotional system is the recognition that the wave is there and there's nothing we can do about it other than just let it be what it is. That's the beauty that lies within this line. You don't have to like it. We don't have to like our life. Don't have to like it, have to accept it. It's not about liking it. You know, we can love people that we don't like. We know that. We can like people we don't love. We don't have to like our life. You can love it or not like it, and any permutation of it. But you will never love it until you accept it. Everyone thinks they're here to improve their lives. But none of us are here to improve our life. There's nothing wrong with our lives. Our lives do not need improving. Yeah, it is exactly what it is supposed to be and nothing else. And what is for the emotional being to accept the nature of the wave, to survive life. Otherwise, you can't. What is what is. You know, this thing is what is. What is not staying on my shoulders. If you don't accept what is, then you're always in pain. Or you're always full of hope and projecting that out onto other people. But well, in many ways, this is one of the most beautiful hexagrams. Remember, I said right at the beginning, the 6 lines, they act as a kind of role models for the feeling in life, how we approach life through feeling. Very often people with the 3rd line in the 30th gate, very interested in reincarnation. You know, this can be a real theme because it's quite a mystical gate. And once you accept it, then you see the whole pattern. You see the whole wheel, the spiral of life. And the grounding here, of course, is in the 29th gate in the 3rd line called evaluation. And this is an interesting grounding because, you know, in a way, what is there to evaluate? What is. Yeah, this is the resignation in the 3rd line of the 30. There's no choice. You can't decide what to bump into, what bonds you're going to make or break. It's a natural process. So what is the evaluation? Do you have any comments on this? You know, I always love reading about your experiences if you have anything you'd like to share. So Mercury moves into gate 55 today at 1344. This is the solar plexus gate of the spirit and the gate of abundance. It's an individual gate. It is subject to the chemistry of melancholy and to the chemistry of the emotional wave. And one of the greatest lessons that all emotional gates can learn is that of not explaining themselves, of being able to stand in their own mood and their own wave and their own feelings and say, because I am. Yeah. Why are you down? Because I am. Why are you happy? The same thing, same answer. And maybe it ties in with our 3rd line that we've just been looking at in this 30. You know, it's the acceptance of what is. I am where I am in my wave. The end. But this can be very hard for other people. Sometimes because they want to help us by jollying us out of our wave or our mood, and you know, they want to know why we're feeling a certain way so that they can make us feel better. Maybe they're feeling guilty. Who knows? Usually it's lovely. Let's say that. Let's say it's lovely and it's well meant. And also there are certainly times when if you're in a low end of your wave, that can make other people around you feel uncomfortable. And so sometimes they're questioning around, well, what's wrong? You know, is there anything I can do to help? It's usually because they want to feel more comfortable, in my experience of being an emotional being. Please comment, as always, if you have anything to say to that. The moon has just moved into gate 47. This is an Ajna gate and it's collective and abstract, and it's the opposite end of the same circuit from our Sun Earth It's in the channel with gate 64, the gate of confusion. And this is the outlet that the 64 needs to relieve that mental pressure of confusion. Here in our ajna is where sense can be made of those images that run through the head in a very slapdash kind of manner. This is where realization happens over time, of course. And next we have gate 6 at 2106 in the gate of friction and conflict. And the south node is living here at the moment. And this is another roll gate. It's tribal, it's in the defense circuit, it's bringing us the strategies that we have within our nature for dealing with conflict. This is an emotional solar plexus gate. It's the gate that generates all the emotional waves, whilst itself feeling almost flattened out. And it might even not consider itself to be emotional at all. This is where the touch of the tribal circuitry comes into play. If you have someone with the 59-6 and just the 6th gate as well, and they are obviously feeling something, but it's not, often what you find is that just touching or giving them a hug, giving them something to anchor into the body can help to release that emotion for them. It either brings them in touch with where they are in their wave, or just gives them a release. So this is something to bear in mind if you know someone who has this activation. And the gate 46 is the last moon transit we'll look at today. This is the G center, same collective abstract circuit as the Sun, Earth, and actually, of course, making a channel with the Earth in gate 29. This is the channel of discovery, a design of succeeding where others fail, or failing where others succeed. There's a lot of trust required in this channel. It's the trust of truly knowing that you are in the right place at the right time. It's about abandoning yourself to the commitments that you make and trusting that the universe has your back. It's about releasing all expectation about the outcome of anything and just accepting there's no such thing as failure or success. There is only discovery. Okay, so I need to do something interesting or not with this scarf. It's actually an outdoor scarf, but it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I thought I would just wear it, but it's really big. And actually, it's not really cold enough, but no, I likes it. Okay, so that's me done for today. I shall go and go for a walk and wear my scarf. That looks better. Maybe I need to find a clip because it's heavy. Anyway, you don't need to know any of this shit, do you? Thank you for watching. I will see you for a 4th line day tomorrow. And until then, as always, go journey.